case, I believe that backgrounds, timelines, characteristics, and all things of that nature, it's very important to know the people that are involved in the crimes and to try to form some sort of adequate opinions, theories, if you will. It is almost impossible to do it with just hearing bits and pieces here and there. So my attempt here to try to do is to put together a timeline to get to know both of these people in a sense, instead of everything just being all over the place, here and a little here and a little there. So that is what I'm going to try to do. Now, we're going to start with this guy, Casey Cole White. And we're actually going to start out in 2015. That is when he actually started having so many issues. A lot of things about his past. And just to break that up really quickly here, he was bullied in school. He was kind of slow. He did take special education classes. People says that he was kind of quote unquote goofy, but he wasn't mean to people, and he would just do things out of the ordinary just to make people laugh, just to get him attention. You know, he would get in trouble, like take dares and things. Another interesting thing I've heard about him is he can't read. Now, when people say he can't read, I don't take that, because we know that he did play high school football, and we also know that it is high likely that he could have just been passed through because he was a big guy and possibly a good player. But when they say he cannot read, I don't believe like he just literally is illiterate. I believe his learning abilities in reading may stem from what I think and everything I've read around, maybe, I don't know, a third, fourth grade level, you know. And I think even more so than that, I believe it's more of a comprehension thing. Like he can read the words, but he really can't comprehend what he's reading. So there's that. Also, it's been said that when he would write notes in prison and correspond with his attorneys and things of that nature, that other ones would write it for him. Inmates have came out and said that they did read his mails to him, because even if he can't read it and read all the words, I do believe it's more of a comprehension thing. Like maybe he can look at a word, he can tell you what the word says, but when it goes into a sentence, he really can't comprehend the entire sentence as a whole. That is kind of the way I'm seeing that. You know, and that, I mean, that's what I know right now. But let's get into this timeline on that, and let's see what we can figure out about these two. So that's going to start us off here on December the 2nd, 2015. This is where he was put in custody after a multi-state crime spree and a police standoff.
Long before Casey White escaped from the Lauderdale County Jail, he had a spree of violent crimes in Tennessee.
It's very scary that a person like that can be out.
This is going to be his mugshot from the Limestone County Jail, December the 2nd, 2015. An Athens man is in custody following a crime spree through North Alabama and South Tennessee Tuesday night that included a home invasion, 2 carjackings, and multiple shootings that left a dog dead and a woman injured. Casey Cole White, 32, was booked into the Limestone County Jail on 2 accounts of first-degree burglary, 1 account of first-degree robbery, and 1 account of first-degree theft. Though additional charges are pending, he also faces charges of attempted first-degree murder, attempted carjacking, and theft in Giles County, Tennessee. His alleged crimes began at around 10:15 p.m., and this was on a Tuesday when he went to his ex-girlfriend's house with 2 handguns. And this is according to Steve Young. This is a spokesman for the Limestone County Sheriff's Office at that time. The woman fled to a neighbor's house, but Casey went into her home and aimed his guns at 2 men inside. The man jumped through a window and ran next door, but a 911 caller told police that 2 children were still in the house. He fired multiple shotguns in the house and he killed a dog. The 2 children who were not injured were rescued by responding deputies while Casey fled on foot.
I can't believe it. Went to court, I testified against him, he got sentenced.
Finding out Casey White escaped and no one knows where he's headed.
Yeah, like I thought I would never have to worry about him ever again.
This is law enforcement video of the arrest of White in 2015. Now, with White on the run, this woman who moved out of state and started a new life is in hiding with her kids and fiancé, afraid to even stay in their own home, fearful White will show up to fulfill his threats.
You know, once before coming to my home and tried to murder me.
In a twist to this terrifying connection, this woman now works as a correctional officer, motivated to help others after her ordeal in Alabama.
Casey White is very dangerous. He's dangerous to everybody that is around him. And it's a scary situation. It's so scary for everybody involved. And, you know, I don't want anybody else hurt. Nobody needs to have to go through that, ever.
What's your message to Vicky White?
If she's still alive, if she is still alive, which I don't know if she is, because I feel like he has manipulated her and she's disposable to him. If she is still alive, get the hell out. Run as far as you can and turn yourself in and contact somebody. Like, do the right thing before you lose your life or before somebody else does.
Police got a second 911 call saying that Casey had gone to his house demanding money. When the victim told him that he did not have any, Casey took his keys and stole his Ford Explorer. Casey resurfaced about 30 minutes later in the Tennessee Welcome Center along I-65 in Giles County, where he first tried to carjack the male driver of an 18-wheeler. The offender jumped onto the 18-wheeler holding a gun in each hand, stating to the victim that "you're going to drive me." The Giles County Sheriff Office reports that the truck driver retreated into his vehicle's sleeper compartment, and at that point the truck driver heard multiple gunshots.
Attempted carjacking ×2, and then also carjacking, theft of property over $1,000, and attempted first-degree murder.
So the big truck jumped up, knocked on the trucker's door. I was going to get him to just drive me.
Authorities said that is when Casey approached a woman that was sitting in her vehicle. He shot into her vehicle multiple times. After failing to steal the woman's car, Casey fled,
shooting into her car and wounding her arm.
I tried to get in, she locked the door, and I was trying to smash it, and the gun started going off.
As deputies were responding to the shooting, they received word that a man had been robbed at gunpoint of his white Lincoln MKZ at a Pilot Travel Center at exit 22.
White then heads to a gas station, pulling a gun on this man, stealing his car, and finally leaving Giles County.
Casey fled south on US 31, reaching speeds of over 100 miles per hour. A standoff ensued after Casey got the car stuck in a field near the Huntsville-Browns Ferry Road.
Just put the gun down. The sheriff will be here in a minute, okay? You want a dip? You want a dip? I got a dip. You just want a cigarette? You want a sun drop? The sheriff will be here in just a minute.
Sheriff will be here in just a second, man, okay?
Hey, look, don't, why? Why, Casey? The sheriff's coming. The sheriff's coming, Casey. Well, look, just calm down for me. Well, look. Just calm down for me, brother. The sheriff will be here in just a minute, okay? All right?
Sheriff's getting off on the Tanner exit.
Hey, it looks like it. Look, calm down for me, brother. Calm down, all right? Casey, the sheriff will be here in just a minute. Can you put the gun down? Casey, put the gun down. Casey, talk to me, brother.
Who is that?
This is Deputy Foxworthy. We met a long time ago. Don't you remember?
Justin Flanagan, anybody here?
Not yet. You know me. You've met me several times, brother. Look, just put the gun down and it's no need in all this. I'm listening. I'm here. I want to talk to you.
Don't come
Okay, well, just listen. Okay. I'll back up. You want me to back up a little bit? I just want to talk to you. I can't hear too good. I just want to talk to you.
Calm down. All right?
No.
Sheriff's here now, man. Sheriff just pulled up.
Casey, you calm down. We're going to back up a little bit, okay? We ain't going to shoot you. No. Talk to you.
But Sheriff Mike Blakely was eventually able to talk him into surrender. It goes on to say that the sheriff says he has known Casey since he was a little boy, but Casey was a man on the run from law enforcement in 2 states when he encountered him in December of 2015. He said that Casey broke into his ex-girlfriend's house, shot at 2 of her friends, and shot and killed her dog in early December of 2015. That is when he said that Casey went on a hunt for a car, attempting 2 carjackings and successfully stealing the 3rd car. And following a late-night chase, Limestone County deputies cornered Casey. And that is when the man began pleading for the sheriff to intervene. Blakely says he got there just a few minutes afterwards, and everybody was there with AR-15s, and Casey is standing out in the middle of the roadway with 2 Glock 40 caliber pistols, one stuck to each side of his head, and he was talking about killing himself. Blakely said Casey wanted him to call his mother and tell her that he loved her. He said he kept trying to talk to Casey and trying to get him to surrender, telling him nothing was going to happen. And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to make y'all kill me." I put him in my truck and I brought him back to the jail where he stayed for a couple of years before actually getting sentenced and being sent to the penitentiary. Casey received a 75-year state prison term for this.
Now, Blakely recalled the events leading up to the standoff between his deputies and White in 2015. He said White broke into his ex-girlfriend's house, shot at 2 of her friends, and shot her and killed her dog. Blakely says after that, White went on a hunt for a car, attempting 2 carjackings and successfully stealing a 3rd car. Following a late-night chase, Limestone County deputies cornered White, and that's when White began pleading for the sheriff to intervene.
Just put the gun down. The sheriff will be here in a minute, okay?
I got there just a few minutes after. You know, it was like a standoff. Everybody was there with the AR-15s, and Casey standing out in the middle of the roadway with 2 Glock 40 caliber pistols, one stuck to each side of his head, and talking about killing himself. And when I got to trying to talk to him, he wanted me to call him.
Blakely said once Casey was transferred to the Donaldson Correctional Facility in Bessemer, he began receiving letters from him. He says he wrote me several times telling me that he could solve a murder for Lauderdale County and that he knew where we could find a body in Limestone County. Casey was just desperate for a transfer. He says it's my understanding, according to Casey, that he had been shanked a couple of times while there in prison. He didn't like it down there and he wanted to get back to the county jail. He said Casey outlined where his investigators could find a woman's body in Limestone County, but nothing ever came out of that search.
After he was in the penitentiary, he wrote me several times, one time telling me that he could solve a murder for Lauderdale County.
In further correspondence, Blakely tells News 19 White was desperate for a transfer.
It's my understanding, according to Casey, he'd been shanked a couple times while he was there in prison. He didn't like it down there and wanted to get back in the county jail.
One of his victims from 2015 was actually reached out to, and this victim today claims that Casey White is on a level of Charles Manson and Ted Bundy.
I was doing my usual, me and my boyfriend at the time, we were watching a TV. It was a horror film. And Carrie had just come back there, just to hang out for just a minute or two, with us, And at that point in time, we didn't smoke in the house because out of respect of our father, because he had, quit smoking before he passed. And she was like, hey, I'm going to step outside and smoke a cigarette, I'll be back. She was like, don't pause the movie or nothing, keep watching it. And we're like, okay, cool. So she went out to go smoke her cigarette. Next thing you know, she's running in the door, pushing the door in, saying, Casey's here with a gun. Casey's here with a gun. She tries to shut the door. And whenever she tries to shut the door, he's literally like right there. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a picture of this kid or guy. He's a giant. And like, I have never seen this guy a day before in my life. I've heard his name. I knew who he was, but I had never, you know, met or anything. And like, I'm sitting there looking at this dude. He's got 2 guns and he's pointing at me and my boyfriend. Different.
He went on to say and warn that Casey knows how to hide. And he even compared Casey to Charles Manson and Ted Bundy, saying that, quote, he will literally do anything and everything, including killing, including kidnapping, including killing animals and putting children at danger just to get what he wants. For all of the people to escape, this dude is probably the worst level that you could possibly let escape. He goes on to say, quote, you've got like Manson and you've got freaking like Bundy and all of these crazy people. He is on that level for me. He testified against Craig during his 2019 trial on the attempted murder and kidnapping charges stemming from the 2015 crime spree. And he said that he's worried that this career criminal is going to hunt him down. He goes on to say that Casey is good enough to not be caught. He stalked our house for days before he came in. He's very hunter-like. And as this woman's children was sleeping in the basement, Casey chased after her and held her and him and his boyfriend at gunpoint. He was saying, get down, get down, get down. He demanded this as he pointed his firearms in their direction. And with his face down on his bed, he began to pray for his life. He said, I just knew it was over. He said when all of a sudden, that is when his dog, Missy Bridges, which was a bloodhound and a German Shepherd mixed, burst into the room and he bit Casey. And this startled Casey enough that the others were able to escape. Casey's ex-girlfriend bolted out the back door, and Abernathy and his boyfriend fled through a bathroom window, but Missy Bridges, she ran. She heard what was going on, and she is the true hero in this story. Why? She saved our lives. And this is the dog that Casey shot and killed that was defending the ones that Casey had hostage. They all survived, and Missy Bridges sacrificed her life for them. Rest in peace, Missy. He says if it wouldn't have been for her, that I am 99.99% sure that we would have died that night. Actually, no, I'm 100% sure that we would have probably died that night. They were able to escape to safety at a neighbor's house, but tragically, Missy Bridges was shot multiple times by Casey and then bled to death before help could arrive. He went on to say she was super loyal and she would never bite a soul. And then he started crying, talking about his dog. He said, we buried her actually on that land because we felt like she was a protector there, and she still is, I think. Casey was arrested later that night following an hours-long standoff with police and was convicted for the crime in February of 2019, and he was sentenced to 75 years behind bars. Abernathy said he had never met Casey before that night, but said he learned enough about this madman from his ex, who is now in hiding. He warned that the born and bred country boy is known to wear camouflage and will be tough for the U.S. Marshals to track down. He said, if I had the means, I would pack my stuff and get my dog, and I would go as far as possible from the state of Alabama. And as for Vicky, the correction officer, I've got one question. Why? And he says, what I'm afraid of is she's not even alive anymore. To me, she was a means to an end. During the pre-sentencing reporting in 2015, he threatened his ex-girlfriend and her sister, warning that if he ever got out, he would kill them and that he wanted the police to kill him. Of said night in 2015, after they were able to get him apprehended. They're pictured here. And as you see, Casey, he is very tall. Ended in a over 100-mile-per-hour car chase in the stolen car that he got stuck in a field. I mean, look how tall he is besides these other officers. And I'm sure some of these other officers are pretty tall themselves, and he just really towers over them. I hope this was a decent timeline for you guys to let you know a little bit about that 2015 thing we continue to hear about, being able to hear from actually one of the victims, actually seeing the dog's photo, because, I mean, we've all spoke about the dog. The dog was the real unsung hero there. Biting Casey possibly did save all of their lives, and it sacrificed its own life. There's really a lot to take in here, and, this kind of gives you a little bit of a better how off the chains and off of the hook this guy really gets when he is mixing meth, which is what he was doing this night, methamphetamine, as well as he also had his lithium in his system that he takes from whatever his mental illness is. His attorney said that he can't remember if it's schizophrenia, but I believe there's a hell of a likely it is with that medication. So it kind of gives you an idea how off the chains he is when he's off of his medication and he's trying to self-medicate. Just seems like the guy had lost all control that night and was not stopping at anything. Like he was just going from rest stops to truck drivers to carjackings to, like, he probably doesn't even remember half the shit he did that night. I mean, it's like he was just blacked out and going crazy. This guy kind of compared him to Ted Bundy and Charles Manson. It may be even deeper than that. This guy literally goes off the hook and doesn't stop. Like he doesn't slow down. He just goes from one extreme to the next extreme to the next extreme when he is on these rampages. Unbelievable. Remember, we do not know where these two are, have no clue whatsoever. So please be on the lookout. Always be looking, because they could literally be right next door to us, honestly, and we wouldn't even know it at this point. Just because the vehicle was found in Tennessee, that doesn't mean they were even headed that way. That could have been a whole decoy, a whole plot to put it there to kind of throw off track. Who knows? But anyway, maybe this helps some, and thank you so much for listening. Let me know in the comments below what you believe, what you think about all of this, and I will be bringing more updates and timelines as well. And until next time, this is Unjustified.